ever vigilant, steady watching and listening, disciplined, militant, killing these dudes that started visiting. What's the latest word, yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in, we need to know. Your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One hell of a show, let's go.
So we can get a little love to Sil Nation.
Hey guys,
Zach says shout out
love this channel.
to Sil
Stay
Nation.
tuned.
It's Coffee Talk with Sylabdul. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe now.
Wake up in the morning, eyes crusty, heavy yawning. My phone keep going off, so I shut off the alarm and then head into the kitchen to get the coffee brewing. French roast with French vanilla, my own French revolution. Next movement is to tune into Coffee Talk with Sil. My girl starts to yap if I tell her she needs to chill. I hear enough of the yapping from all of these goofy shills. Plus I'm trying to be informed of whatever's the latest deal, for real. I am a FIFA caffeine, coffee gotta have some cream. Fetch a hazel beef for me while I listen to these kings. Silla Mikey be the team. Subscribe to Sylabdul Inc. Wiki City magazine. Tell me what's behind the scenes, the other side of the ravine. Is it obscene or is it obscure? I am not sure. The rich is the rich off the poor. That ain't no doubt to my core. We just keep asking for more. They keep supplying the man in the store. As long as it makes it to shore, I know for sure. They'll just keep on making more. Well, almost treasure that piece now has been transformed into corporate Hollywood's whore.
What's up? What's up? Welcome to Coffee Talk. I am Sylabdul. We got a little exclusive information in today's stream. People that's kind of know my content with DC for going on 5 years now. Sometimes little stuff leaks out to me. I just put out what I hear, or we confirm or deconfirmed stories that's out there. So anyway, we here for the Superman 30 minutes that's been streamed. I need my water. No coffee this morning. I don't know if that's a bad sign. I don't know. But we have water. We have water. Much love to Sil Nation. And when we're talking about Sil Nation, we did like a little reboot because things getting a little weird out there on social media. And what do we mean by that? We are making it very clear. We are not part of the fandom wars. We can have our opinions about stuff. We'll joke about stuff. But it has gotten obnoxious on social media. And so we definitely want to address that to make it clear that we're not a part of that. And I've really steered things on my platform so that, regular viewers would not be a part of the messiness that's out there. One example here is people know, again, the core of my channel, DC. We enjoy the Snyder versions of it. And we're DC fans overall. And we'll have our opinions overall. The DC fandom has been fractured. James Gunn talked about that. But as I've been highlighting, the Snyder fandom is fractured as well, too. Just want to throw this up here real quick. Shout out to King Bachala on Twitter. He's noticing what separately what I've been noticing. He's starting a community of Snyder fans who don't want to continue being a part of the trolls and hate that he believes misrepresents Snyder fans. I agree. King Bachala. So he started a community. And again, the fandom is fractious. Here's another one. You had those fake Snyder accounts. He, again, decided to make a community to sort of a true Snyder fan stamp. Nothing wrong with having a difference of opinion, discussion, or debate, but some people are just being outright belligerent and it's just falling back on the fandom as a whole. So again, I agree with the angle that he's saying, and I encourage y'all, don't let the trolls represent your fandom. That's what we're doing. So definitely appreciate his sentiments on that. Now, with that out the way, let's get to, before we get to it, because obviously we want to talk about the 30 minutes, obviously. I mean, that's why I did the stream. We are going to touch a little bit on the pre-sales, that information. But one more thing here. This came up the other day. Just want to, doing this for a few years here. Again, this is kind of good for the newer people finding my channel, knowing that, at times, again, I hear things. I heard about the screening, and a lot of people just assume my information was just Snyder based. But that's just how things was going. You know what I mean? That's the angle that things was going. That's why my reports was that way. And I was a fan of the Snyderverse, obviously, as well. Still am. When the regime changed, I still was getting information. Like Clooney in the Flash film. A lot of people aren't seeing my stories with James Gunn because he hasn't released anything yet. Just Creature Commandos. Now you got Superman. And when I heard when he started writing this script, what was this, in 2022? Well, he was writing it before then. Gunn was writing the Superman script for a minute. But an early draft of the film, I reported in early 2023, Mr. and Miss Spitalik was in an early draft of Superman. Now that same video is on my Superman channel, where I was hearing about Momoa Lobo, but everyone was hearing that back then. So I can't claim I was the first one with Momoa Lobo, but we was talking about that a couple years ago. But at the same time, I heard about Mr. and Miss Spitalik. And then you have this quote from Nathan Fillion. He teased interdimensional imps, which may confirm the existence of Mr. Mixie. Very possible, very possible. So, and as I said, we give informative, dynamic, and or objective and dynamic information because things do change. Scripts change. You already know. So, first off, did I shout out people in the chat? Carlos, shout out to you. Adrian, you got Chubby Teddy talking about Predator. Well, yeah, maybe I'll do a Predator stream. Derek, Music City, Hosea, Taladia, I see you. Penny is out, but we'll catch you later for sure. Fernando, I see you up there early as well, and Maria. So let's first touch on the box office stuff. Let's see. Chubby Teddy says here, and I wish he was all Snyder based. Like you said, was right about Mr. Mr. Oh, okay, Chubby Teddy. Weird comments from you, Chubby. I just want you to know that. I don't know if you know. I realize you make weird comments, but a lot of people talk about the box office. Yeah, you're just babbling at this point. James Gunn Superman tracking 135 million. Now, there's a couple different reports that's come out, and people are thinking, are they conflicting? What's really going on as far as with this film and this box office? A lot of people say, the Flash they projected 150 million. And then we obviously know what happened with the Flash film. Yeah, he's just babbling, Carlos, at this point. He's just babbling. Yeah, let me put this one in real quick before we get started on the article, because I got to cut these videos later. There's for Chubby Teddy. I hate James Gunn. Let's get that comment out the way. We get it, bro. Now we got you covered, Chubby. That drop was just for you. We got you covered. Yeah. So with the box office, weird stuff. I covered that report a week ago where it was like, 180. Sylabdul, shout out to Adrian. 180. And I was like, I'm not sure 180, but they were going off of real projections and trying to forecast. That's what projections are. They're forecasting potential, box office. Now, usually it comes out inflated. Definitely comes out inflated, and then it comes back down to earth when you get pre-sales. Excuse me. So the next wave of projection, as you get closer to the film, it gets closer to what the number actually is going to be. Then the same day, the Harvard Reporter comes out, says 135 million, which would be basically right behind or right at Matt Reeves' Batman level. And then there's another article as well, but it says here, others are suggesting between 90 to 120 million. Again, these projections come in after pre-sale activities, polling, and that type of information. People have been doing this for years. I talk to exhibitors at times, and that's where I get some of my box office information. So that first report actually wasn't totally off. It was just inflated. And then it came down to, like I said, a interesting report that we have here. So let's kind of go through what they're saying. Then we have another report. Then we'll get to those 30 minutes, I promise. We won't take too long on the box office. But it says 3 weeks left to go. Again, 135 million. If the forecast, because that's what this is a forecast, if it's right, Superman will land high up in the list of DC openings, although it would be behind BVS. That was 166. And it would be behind Dark Knight as well, too. But if it does hit that 130 mark, it will be ahead of 2013 Man of Steel. Man of Steel opened up at 116 million. And that's interesting. Like, because I really wasn't tracking, obviously I wasn't tracking box office in 2013. I knew about Man of Steel's full run, was it like 670? But it opened up decently, 116. And I concluded with as I've been saying for months now, the brand recognition of Superman and the name recognition, James Gunn as well. I think this film was going to do well the whole time. And then I was thinking 120. But then also you put in that Man of Steel did 116. That was really good. Really good as a rebooted Superman. People swear they didn't like Zack Snyder's style, but they showed up in theaters. And I think, again, you're talking about brand recognition at that point and just walk-up audience. You got 116. So very interesting. Word of mouth will be the boost or death, the hype. Well, yeah, right. Well, before the film opens, after the film comes out, then you got the word of mouth, audience score, cinema score. So that's when word of mouth kicks in. Right now, the pre-sales, and we'll talk about pre-sales in a moment. That's just pure buzz for the project. Either you have it or you don't. Then you have, again, the walk-up audience. And that brand recognition is a big part of that. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. So, yeah, we're not having that word of mouth yet. I think it's safe to say the Superman brand. Yeah, because seeing how Man of Steel did and Superman is still Superman, I mean, I think you're guaranteed at least 100 million. And then you factor in the James Gunn element. I think for sure. It's going to be 100 million. But people showed up for Man of Steel, Chris. That's what I'm not understanding how this ain't getting across to some people. Like, there was a walk-up audience for Man of Steel, pure reboot. Zack Snyder out of nowhere did Superman, and he got 116 million. I mean, I'm just saying, I think that bodes well again for the Superman brand. And again, this 135 million, just so people understand where this number is coming from, is the leading tracking service, the National Research Group. They did Matt Reeves' The Batman. They do all kinds of stuff. According to their sources, with access to data, they provide a range in addition to a solo number. In this case, the range for Superman's domestic opening is 125 to 145 million. Now, again, these are projections. My number is 120. Again, and I've had the same formula the whole time: brand recognition, name recognition of James Gunn. You put all that together, and then you add in. My number was at 100 a few weeks ago. And then when the pre-sales opened, and I saw people that said they hated the Superman film, were the first ones to buy early advance tickets. I was like, oh, my number's going up to 120. And then I heard that's kind of where the range is. I talked to y'all a few days ago about this. Now these numbers come out because I talked to real exhibitors. Like, again, this is good for newer people that's finding my platform. I get information. I'm an independent platform, and I just put it out there. And that's just what it is. So you think Superman's destroyed? I don't think. Yeah. Now you're just babbling. Is this the babbling chat? This the one where we're just saying random stuff. But so NRG, again, not just someone online just typing numbers. They do this professionally. Now, it says tracking is hardly a science. Projections have been notably off in a number of instances from all services. A lot of people underpegged Minecraft recently, like 50, 60 million. No, it did 130. So yeah, you're going to have anomalies, obviously. To that end, insiders at DC Studios and Warner's are being more conservative, and Warner Brothers always does this. They undercut, they underpromised on Matt Reeves' Batman. I did all this stuff in real time, right? So this ain't the first movie that we covered. Again, people want to jump to, oh, well, The Flash, they said this. This is more than just a couple screenshots online. We're talking about real data and information, not just, a meme on Twitter. But it's saying they're being conservative, saying 90 to 125 million, although anything less than 100 million might be seen as a blemish. Yeah, this film has to have at least $100 million. It has to open up at least as good as Man of Steel. That's what they really. We're just gonna make this clear. We're too close to this movie coming out. They poured in money into this marketing. The press tour has begun. So this has to open up at least as good as Man of Steel, in my opinion. So 116. My number is 120. But they definitely need to eclipse that. Let's see. Someone in the chat saying Superman merchandise isn't selling. That's not true. And I love when someone claims something like some absolute statement. They talk about their local rural area store. Judging off of that one store, they're saying nothing's selling. No, Superman brand recognition is alive and well. Judging by the pre-sales, not by your rinky-dink store. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's just be honest about this, man. If it was tanking, if the buzz wasn't there, I would be the first to report that. So for those saying, well, in my one store, I see a lot of Superman toys, the whole world is reacting to Superman. So we'll just get this out the way for you. I hate James Gunn. Let's get that comment out the way. That's all you have to say. Instead of saying, oh, my store, I talked to 10 people and they don't know about Superman. Just say you hate James Gunn. Just say it. I'm going to have to add DC and Warner Brothers in that too. Yeah. Because it gets ridiculous. These examples. Shout out to Jovic. We try to deal with just real numbers, y'all, because like I said, it's beyond obnoxious. Again, you're seeing Snyder fans. They're seeing how ridiculous some of y'all are looking out there. All right. And here with Still Nation, we have Snyder fans, we have DC fans, Marvel, everyone. It's getting ridiculous out there. You hear real numbers. That's how they looking. How dare you say it could match Man of Steel opening weekend? I swear. Mary says, what does toy sales have to do with the box office? Exactly. No, toy sales, like Maria said, toy sales does not determine box office. Let's break that to people. Let's kill that. Okay, that doesn't determine pre-sales. See, when you have real numbers, people just like, oh, let's look for toy sales. Pre-sales show you that there's interest in this film. So let's stop that. Like Carlos says, everybody's a store stock marketing genius. I swear, bro. Yeah. Man said because of his local toy store, he thinks the tickets are not selling. Let's get through this because I want to get to those 30 minutes. But the point is clear, right? This has to make 100 million plus opening weekend. I say it has to at least match or exceed Man of Steel, which is 116. My number is 120. They talk about a couple other films, DC films. Like we mentioned, Batman vs. Superman, the highest DC opening ever, 166. That did more than a Dark Knight. Dark Knight did 160. Dark Knight Rises did 160. Dark Knight did 158. So practically 160. Matt Reeves' Batman 134. So that's the current projection. Then you had, which was this article I'm about to bring up, where people are using saying, "Oh, see the tracking's falling." Actually, gave a lot of good information as far as what's going on with these tickets. That 90 to 125 million, that's actually a Warner Brothers number because they're always conservative. The 125, 135, again, is from third-party sources. All right. So this is the article. People saying, "Oh, it's down to 90," but they don't see it has a dash and it says 125, meaning it could be more than 90. And this article, Anthony D'Alexandro, I've covered his articles for going on 5 years now. He's one of the biggest Warner Brothers shields. So they're putting out the expectations like, hey, if it doesn't pop, we told y'all we were tracking around 90 to 125. It's amazing when people change their agendas, man. It's amazing. Says Superman, the first film under new DC Studios, headed by James Gunn and Peter Safran, arrived on tracking with 125 to 145 million. So they put the same number in there from NRG. However, various distribution sources believe the real range for the domestic opening of Gunn directed movie is more in the 90 to 125 million vicinity. Again, that's coming from Warner Brothers. And that's not a bad number either. Like, I understand if that range was like, oh, it's like 50 to 90, then yeah, or 16 million to 90, then yeah, they should be worried. They're not worried right now. They're happy with that number, folks. Let's see. Adrian said, with 125, does it indicate WB's expecting around 650 to 700? Yeah, 700 will be the number where everyone will exhale. If it's like 500 to 600 and it's kind of lagging right there, they will make their budget back. Because Gunn put that out there. I'm trying to give y'all exactly a year ago. I told y'all the game plan that they will spend 500 million as a success. Now we have a quote from James Gunn. Hey, I just got to make my budget back. Excuse me, my goodness. 225 is the budget. You do 500 million. And that definitely got to explain this now. Oh, I'm glad we're on this topic now. Because people think they know how this is really going to go. They were always prepared to spend 500, to say 500 million is a success last year. They spent 225 million on the film. Most people say, oh, you just got to, 2 times your budget. Some say 3 times, but it's like, calm down. Then you make your budget back, right? So 225 million, if you double that, 450, you get 500 million, you made your budget back. Now people will say, well, sylabdul, you got to add the marketing. Some of the experts out there, I'm going to say like this first. Yeah. 500 million, they make their budget back. And then I'm going to see what troll comments we get from that. But what really happens when you add the budget, when the marketing budget, when they first established DC Studios separate from Warner Brothers Studios, DC Studios is almost like an imprint label. That's like the best way I can say it. And we'll kind of break it down. Marvin J says 500 million is not enough for David Zaza. I don't know as far as for him what that means. If this film makes 500 to 600 million, they will spin it as a success, or that we made our money back. Now, the marketing and stuff they put into this film, they better get 700 million. I agree. But this notion is not, I don't know what that means. It's not enough for Zaz. He still will be there if for some reason this film doesn't get 700 million. Now, for those saying it has to make up its marketing budget, who spent the money on the budget? If we got some proclaimed experts, the budget for DC Studios 225 on the when they fill out their account sheets, who's spending the money on the marketing? It's technically under Warner Brothers. This is how, when I talk about creative accounting and how you can put on there that you can roll over budgets from past films to get tax breaks, to borrow money. They can make this number look however they want. But just for the public's sake, they put out 225 million is the budget. They're not going to tell you how much they spend on marketing, but it'll probably be 150 million. But that bill doesn't go to James Gunn and Peter Safran. I want people to understand what I'm saying here. Okay. Gunn told you point blank, I just got to make my budget back. 500 million will do that. Now, Warner Bros. Will be happy if he gets 700 million, because Warner Brothers Discovery is paying the marketing, not DC Studios. And Just want to make that clear. If this film makes under 650 million or even 600, where do you see DC going? Gunn gets his first wave of DC. I'll just say this is point blank spot. This film, I feel, will open up at least 100 million. It will at least make its budget back. Gunn will get his first wave of DC, meaning he will get to Supergirl. As long as Supergirl ain't feeling wobbly, then Gunn will get his extension. Now, if there's an audience out there saying, "Oh, they feel this film can't even make 500 million," in that dark scenario for Gunn, then he will be in trouble if he doesn't get his budget back. He said that in plain words to all of us. I was like, okay, that makes sense of the accounting part of that. Gunn got ahead of a lot of that, which is interesting. So I feel Gunn's going to get his first wave of DC is the point I'm trying to make with that. Let me blow up this article just a little bit because it has a little information as far as the what I was saying with the brand recognition. Let's get into it. And then we'll get to those 30 minutes. I promise we'll talk about that. Some cool details that we're going to talk about today. Okay, here. It says here, because he's a brand name, Superman pops on unaided awareness. Now, see, when we give you numbers and data, don't run and post a meme. Understand this information. This is what marketing companies look at. This is, exhibitors and everything. When I was saying Superman brand name, people went to their local toy store thinking, oh, just listen for a minute. This unaided awareness, that's the category where those moviegoers hold automatically cite a movie they want to see without being prodded by a poster. Brand recognition. When you see the Superman logo, that's high on the brand recognition. With a 30 in unaided awareness, it's higher than Top Gun Maverick. But is that the right comp? So what they're saying, Top Gun Maverick opened up 126 million based off Tom Cruise and the Top Gun brand. They was like, oh, I want to see that. And that film blew up. Now, that's not an apples to apples thing there. This is saying more about the Superman brand than anything else. It says Superman is below as far as tracking Thor, Love and Thunder, which I still don't know how Marvel made a lot of money with that one. The Batman, of course, because Thor, they got some. That's why they got to make another Chris Hemsworth film. Marvel and Feige, they're not going to do what DC's doing with Momoa, killing the Aquaman franchise. Chris Hemsworth Thor makes money. And it's Marvel. You got to do another Hemsworth Thor film. Brand recognition. The Batman, like I said, Batman is Batman. People are going to show up. And then Guardians 3. Guardians 3, that's the James Gunn name recognition. We're just talking numbers right now. I don't know how much the first Guardians make. Let me see. Guardians 7. It can get close to 7. Yeah. I think the film can make 700 million. Yeah. So that's close to it. Yeah, I think 120 opening, at least 700 million, and they will throw a parade. James Gunn will get a blank check, and people, there'll be a lot of talk online about that. Someone thought making money it should have been illegal. Yeah, but you got something there. You made a bad movie with Hemsworth, Thor. You got to make another one. You know what I mean? And see, with Gunn being up there with Guardians 3, and people consider Guardians 3 relatively a good film, definitely better than Love and Thunder. What sold that? It wasn't Marvel That was a bad time in the phase for Marvel. That was James Gunn. People gotta give James Gunn that name recognition, that respect. How dare you? How dare you say you should respect James Gunn? I hate James Gunn. Let's get that comment out the way. How dare you? Oh, hold up. See, Maria, we was having a nice conversation. You know, we had a few trolls early, and I thought everything was cool. Then Maria throws a jab again at one of the best Batman movies ever, Batman and Robin. Maria, I'm trying to understand. I cleared out like the trolls calmed down because I started talking like in numbers and stuff. So they calmed down really quick. And then Maria comes in here with this, man. We are not going to fight about we're not going to fight about this, man. About Batman and Robin. Read a book. Yeah. Yovik, don't watch Thor: Love and Thunder. You saved yourself. I almost walked out of that film, man, because it was just bad. It was just it was just bad. Nightmare timeline, Superman successful. Gunn does his whole universe. Yeah. That's a nightmare for some people. All right, so again, brand recognition, unaided awareness. That's a new term I'll probably start using more, because I think, Marvel has been king with that, but it depends on the character. You can't just do any Marvel film. We talked about that before. Thunderbolts, Sam Wilson Cap. You can't just trot those films out there and think you're going to make, 700 million. It's got to be Avengers or their big three. That was RDJ, Chris Evans, and Hemsworth. Those were your big three for Marvel. Avengers is going to highlight RDJ. It's going to make $2 billion. Do Thor 5. That's another profitable film. That's the point. Unaided awareness. Adrian, check out my recent streams. I talked about, like, every stream I did, I talked about Jurassic World, tracking behind its predecessors. Jurassic World likely will finish behind Superman and Fantastic Four. So, yeah, I talked about that. Let's get to the pre-sales. Then we'll get to the first 30 minutes. I promise. I'm going to speed this up. As I said, we already told you Superman's the year's best advanced ticket seller in the first 24 hours. That's just a fact. I don't I don't know how people somehow that's twisted somehow. With the Amazon Prime early access flying off Fandango's portal, the website crashed. If you disagree, you're stupid. Those screenings are on it's Tuesday, not Wednesday, July 8th. Sources say when it comes to Superman's opening weekend outlook, it boils down to reviews, of course, word of mouth, audience score, cinema score. It says, why is this film above all others like Deadpool, Wolverine in the post-pandemic landscape? Because everyone's familiar with Superman, and many will make their decision to go based strictly word of mouth. And that's what happened to BVS. I saw that in real time. Now, this is where I say, hey, I talked to 5 people in real life, but I saw this happen with BVS, and I was defending the film. Where, because can we all agree? Can we all agree just on, again, just realities at this point? We could talk about feelings and things like that. We could talk about that, but just bare numbers. When we talk about pre-sales tracking, audience scores, stuff like that. BVS didn't have a good audience score, right? It had Superman in the title, had a great opening. And then I was talking to someone, I was like, I mean, BVS is my favorite CBM film ever. All right. Literally my favorite CBM ever. And so it was a friends of the family. They didn't see it opening weekend. So they was talking about it that Sunday. They was like, oh yeah, that Batman versus Superman. You know, and they was talking about how they was hearing they had bad reviews and stuff. I was like, no, go see it. Go see BVS. What are you talking about? And it was like, well, the critics and the audience scored. They was literally like Rotten Tomatoes people. I was like, oh my goodness, like that word of mouth really does, affect these films. It affects that's my favorite film. Let's see. We got someone else that doesn't understand English. Let's see. Who's defending Superman? Please say it in the chat. These are bare numbers for you. It's sad. It's really sad how that's why I had that recent video of film discourse needs to evolve. So it says Superman looks visually cheap. The quality is trash. Well, there's a bunch of people that just seen it, and I'll talk about what they think about it. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. So again, brand recognition. Superman. I mean, I guess hearing that he has brand recognition, I guess that hurts feelings. I think feelings are really hurt. I'm just reading facts and data that's been used with every single film before Superman, and it will be used with every film after Superman. I'm sorry if it doesn't fit your agenda, your worldview. This is just what it is. Superman brand recognition is a real thing. You got these Lex Luthors out there. Amazing. All right, let's get through this. All right, so we talked about again the brand. This was a good article for the brand part of it, but let's finally wrap this up in a little bow. Pun unintended right there, but we're going to the wrap. And they lean more into the pre-sale numbers. Again, 90 to 120, that's a Warner Brothers number. They did this with Matt Reeves, the Batman. They tried to undersell it. And then it was like, oh, it did better than expectations. But I think the number is 120. Get this out of here. Let's see. Do I still have it on the screen? Okay. It says here, box office and studio insiders tell the Wrap that Superman has racked up 10 million in ticket pre-sales so far, and is hoping to build up more buzz as the film's cast, led by Corn Sweat, etc. They do the press junket screenings. They already started their worldwide tour. So I brought this article just for this paragraph here. 10 million. 90 million. But I thought people was telling me Superman's gonna open up at 40 million, 50 million. And I was like, we'll wait to see what the numbers. I mean, I have no reason to jump ahead of the numbers. And now they put out 90 to 120. Oh, I'll pick 90. I'll pick the lesser number. But I think it's gonna do. Warner Bros. Is throwing out a low number on purpose because now they're gonna look victorious when it makes more than 90. Because I think Superman again, it made 116 with Man of Steel, so I think it'll get at least 100. So $10 million, is that good? By comparison, Hosea, Matt Reeves' The Batman had $12 million in pre-sales. Probably like a week before it was up to 12 million, probably a week before Batman opened. So that's kind of the gauge. Matt Reeves' Batman opened up 130 million plus. It had 20 million when you count the Thursday premieres and the IMAX showings that happened, before the release. So you're dealing with a couple of different numbers because people are mixing up pre-sales with the Thursday premiere numbers and just the opening numbers overall. So pre-sales are literally just people buying the tickets. It could be for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They could buy it for the next week after that. It's just pure pre-sale numbers, no matter what day they picked. So hopefully that makes sense to some people. Because a lot of people said, well, Matt Reeves' Batman got 17 million for his Thursday showings. So Superman at 10 million, maybe, or no, I think some people said no. They said Matt Reeves' Batman got 7 million. I think that's what he said. Yeah. Let me redo what I said there. A lot of people are saying the 7 million from the advanced screenings, Tuesday, Wednesday screenings of Matt Reeves' Batman was 7.5 million, which sounds about right. Then you had another 14 on the Thursday premiere. So let me make sure I'm saying this correctly. That's a separate number. 10 million for pre-sales for Superman is just for you come in, you're buying tickets for any day. Matt Reeves' Batman did 12 million when people came in and bought tickets for any day. That's probably the cleanest way to say it right there. It was at least 12 million like a week before the opening. We can't confuse that with the early showings of Batman, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We can't confuse that. It's just straight up, I went to the portal, I bought a ticket for the Batman early. It was at least 12 million. So what does this say? If Superman's at 10 million, you still have about 2 or 3 more weeks to make do. Could it catch that 12 million or more? That's possible. It's showing that Superman has had great business with pre-sales. That is literally the point right there. And hopefully I said that right, because I was mixing up the Thursday numbers and stuff. So hopefully that came across good. I'll see it on my replay when I say, I didn't say that right. Word of mouth. Yeah, so let's make it like a clear-cut thing when we talk about these numbers. Word of mouth is not a factor right now. The film has to come out first. Right? So if I'm saying Matt Reeves' Batman did 12 million straight up pre-sales where they could jump into the portal and buy any ticket that they want any day, and Superman's at 10 million and still has 3 weeks, to basically make do. That's the comparison right there. That word of mouth has nothing to do with that. This is straight up numbers. Now, Batman went on again with his brand recognition. We just showed the numbers. It went on and had a pretty good opening weekend. Yeah, we'll get to the entire box office run. Yeah, once we get there, you know what I'm saying, Adrian? It's like it's not even part of the conversation. I'm trying to keep it as apples to apples as possible. Now, when the film actually comes out, and then let's say it does 120, right? Then the word of mouth will kick in. then we could talk about those. And we can't even touch those numbers right now. We can just compare at this point where the Batman was, where Superman is at right now. There'll be a stream I'll do when the film comes out and the word of mouth comes out. Then it's like, okay. All right. Word of mouth has been bad for years. What word of mouth? What does word of mouth have to do with anything right now? When if the pre-sales are doing good, like these are bare numbers for you. Yeah. That's just we're just gonna take the pre-sales down because I guess people don't understand pre-sales now. Amazing. So let's get to the point of this video. We want to talk about what I heard with the 30 minutes that was screened. Yeah, but I'm saying, it's like I'm trying to talk just straight English. Word of mouth has nothing. Word of mouth has not affected the pre-sale numbers. So, what do you say to that? Reputation, but the pre-sales are good. Do we understand that $10 million number is good, and it broke Fandango servers day one? Do we understand that? So if the reputation was really that bad and word of mouth, why did this make a lot of money already? We got to stop, man. That's why we got to stop when we hear facts, man. We got to be like, hey, let's just see what it does when it comes out. That's all you got to say. Don't challenge actual data that I just showed you. That's weird. Not you personally. I'm just saying, just people that's doing it. It's like, come on now. Like, if this film falls on its face, we will see the trajectory. Right now, it has pretty good pre-sales and the brand recognition is there. James Gunn name recognition. This film likely will do okay. I'm just saying, man. I know other channels there. Like I said, I know other channels, they love the negative stuff, and supposedly that's good for views and stuff like that. I get it. I choose not to be a part of that because I like to look up actual data, and the exhibitors I talk to and people that I hear from, I like to reflect actual information. As Carlos says, the movie goalposts, they keep changing the script. Yeah, I'm trying to understand. It's like to my word of mouth. Like, we're not even there yet. Stay with the conversation. Sorry about that. Who's expecting $1 billion? What? Who's expecting $1 billion? Please tell me. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like I said, I like, when I do a video and I put out information that people can go back and say, oh, he said this in this video. I don't see this film making $1 billion. That hasn't been discussed at all on any of my streams. I mean, I've laughed at the idea of this making $1 billion. I don't think any of these July films, and I'm gonna get to the 30 minutes. I apologize. I do apologize. I've been delaying it. But where's that? My July thing. Here we go. I don't think any of these films is making $1 billion. And I say this pretty much every stream. And we've been dynamic and updating what we've been talking about. And Jurassic World Rebirth is tracking behind its predecessors. It's tracking behind Superman and Fantastic Four as well. Superman is coming ahead of all the parameters that's out there right now. Superman's coming ahead of Fantastic Four and Jurassic World. That's just what the data is saying. Now you could wish upon a star and just and hope And that's fine. I mean, like I said, that's fun to project and forecast. Let's just be realistic. It's just goodness, man. I was hearing people keep saying it's going to be just like the Flash. It's going to do just the same numbers. Now ask them what was the Flash pre-sale numbers? Crickets, because Flash didn't have the brand recognition, didn't have the same buzz that Superman is having. It just is, folks. Let's get to the 30 minutes, man. Let's stop. I'm gonna stop because I know if I keep refuting the same thing over and over, I'm gonna look like the idiot, right? So now people weren't comparing it to the Flash now. Okay, all right. So Superman 30 minutes. The screening has went out there. Now there's been some general reactions. I don't know if y'all seen online with these 30 minutes. I guess I should put this up here just so people will know. James. All right, let's put this up here. All right. So I've seen like some general comments out there where people's like, oh, the flying looks great. Some people said the footage made them cry. I got a chance to reach out to real people that was aware of these 30 minutes of James Gunn Superman. So I'm going to tell you their impressions and little details that I don't think you've heard yet from this, right? So first thing, the 30 minutes for multiple people, they're saying seeing this on the big screen, because I know a lot of people are comparing what they see on their phone and stuff. They're saying this looks really good. They use the word amazing on the big screen. Because there's been a lot of talk about the quality. Yeah, they're crying. Seeing this on the big screen, because there's been a lot of talk about the quality. I'm sorry, bro. Like I can't agree with some of these takes that you're saying some of these shots look bad. Now that the crooked eye thing, that's been taken out of the film, right? But like other shots, that doesn't look bad. That doesn't look cheap quality. I'm not understanding where we're getting the cheap quality. I don't think this looks cheap. It's amazing. It looks more colorful. Definitely more colorful. This doesn't look cheap to me, y'all. I don't get it. Everyone's a CGI artist now. And I said that people, I see you, Jovic. And I see people, they were taking, when they said the Flash looked bad, the CGI, some people, and maybe they're doing this on purpose for the negative thing they're doing, they think like CGI equals cinematography. And I'm like, that's not what we're talking about. Those are two totally different things. The Flash, they did not finish the CGI on the Flash. That's not cinematography. And these shots look genuinely okay. I'm just saying. So yeah, a lot of people are really nitpicking, yeah. But so my point is that they're saying when you see this on a big screen and see it in context, it flows. And again, these are people that actually saw these 30 minutes of the film, right? They did not cite any like cheap quality. Now, again, Now, this is another thing they said, which I found interesting. They was like, of the 30 minutes that they saw, it was like this Superman, obviously he's not going to be like Henry Cavill. You see, he has more range, just like when he's Clark, he's arguing with Lois and stuff like that, right? So you see this is a different take, right? They said, but this Superman, it's its own thing. It's not even giving you Christopher Reeve vibes. This is not just like him just redoing Donner Superman. Gunn is doing a unique version of Superman, which I found interesting. Because we didn't know like if it was going to be, a knockoff of Christopher Reeve or something like that. This is a unique version on its own, and he gets into more about what this version is. But this is their impression when they're watching this, that it is not a callback to another version. So interesting, right? They say this is the first time they felt Superman was relatable, just in the 30 minutes that they saw. Now, I guess I'll get to more of that in a moment, but this was kind of what Gunn said as far as his way in Superman was that Superman's too powerful. You got to bring him down and show that he could be beat. I'm like, we'll see the execution of that. Just according to what they're saying, a very relatable character when he's in conflict. Interesting point that they said about that. Now, again, they said the action is great. More on that in just a moment. And they said at times, and this is their words, okay? If no one told you who the director was of this film, you probably wouldn't have known this is James Gunn. Is what they're saying. This is probably the most different film James Gunn is about to give us. Now, what does that mean? What does that say? And Carlos Jovic's good. Yeah, no, Jovic, he is our resident Snyder fan. We're all Snyder. Most of us are Snyder fans. Let Jovic blow off his steam. It's all good. But yeah, he was like, if you didn't tell me it was James, he was like, this is just this whole sci-fi thing, this whole vibe to the film. It was like, this is a different James Gunn that we're getting. This is different now. I say that, but then you have shots like this.
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
It is like, oh, that's James Gunn. That's definitely a James Gunn film right here. Yeah, that's with selfies and things like that.
Crypto! Stop!
I wonder, just like he pulled out the cross-eyed shot that everyone's. I wonder if he's going to pull out some of his other stuff. I don't know for the final cut, but they're just saying this is James Gunn is really giving a proper film. Yeah, I'll love the Jovic, man. What else we got? So that was interesting. That was the first thing he told me. And I was like, oh man, I was like, this is okay. Wasn't expecting this angle in this film for it to feel so different but vibrant and things like that. They said the way this film is shot, you're like in the middle of the action. So we kind of saw this in these shots, right? You're right in the middle, and that's cinematography. That's from the Flash. Like this isn't. We're not talking about unfinished CGI. There's different shots in the Flash that actually didn't look bad. I like the shot with Keaton when they break out Supergirl, right? And Keaton's like, let's try not to die. And then Angle, that's is bringing you into the middle of it overall. So just imagine the whole film is like that. And it said definitely you got to see this in IMAX because it just is the vibrance of that. You're right in the middle, like I said, middle of the action. So that's good. So you're going to get used to that early in the film. You're going to see these shots, and then by the end of the first act, you're like, oh, you're right there, in the fight, which is interesting. So that was cool. Now the structure of these 30 minutes. Let me dispel one thing, and maybe I was a part of the people misreporting this part. These 30 minutes they saw is not just straight up the first 30 minutes of the film. Like James Gunn was able to screen these 30 minutes and still not spoil anything, which is interesting. That's interesting. So it's 30 minutes. It's like extended versions of stuff that we saw in the trailer. And I'll get to specifics in just a moment here. So extended versions. Right, select footage, Hosea. Select footage. So it's still out of context. You still don't really know what happened. You can't piece together the whole film off of this, which is a smart move. Smart move by James Gunn. So you see the extended version.
Crypto! Stop!
Right, you see that in the Crypto Take Me Home. Now, I didn't ask him, did they cut that down some? Because that was the only problem I had with that 5-minute sneak peek, a couple months ago. It was like, oh my goodness, the crypto stuff. But so you see the crypto, you still see Superman's injured. You don't know who beat him up. You still don't have any answers. And you see the extended version of that when you get to the fortress. You get more dialogue. You get more crypto in the fortress. And then you get to I got to get back to the fray type thing. So extended version of that entire crypto to fortress scene. That's part of the 30 minutes. Okay. Also an extended, and why don't I have this picture? But the extended shot of this. Extended shot of the fight against the kaiju. I don't know why I don't have my kaiju picture anymore. Like I lost my kaiju card. You get an extended look of the fight. All right. So you got 30 minutes. You got kind of like part of it is the crypto fortress. Then you get the kaiju fight. They see it in the big screen. They see again the angles that they were using in that fight, which is interesting. Very interesting. And again, they're saying the action looks good. That kaiju fight, they say is a crowd pleaser. So that's one thing there. And then part of the 30 minutes, again, the extended look of Clark and Lois. So it just they give you that first section, then it kind of fades out. Then you got the kaiju fight, fades out. Then you get Clark and Lois. The Clark and Lois argument interview seems to be a part of this film that they're really pushing because they want the 4-quadrant reaction to this film. That's male, female, young, old. The crypto stuff seems to be, again, testing well with women and children and dog lovers overall. And the Clark and Lois relationship has tested well with women demographic as well, to that relationship part. And Lois is really quippy. And so you get an extended look of that interview. That's part of the 30 minutes as well, too. Smallville, I wouldn't say Smallville because like the way Corn Sweat is bringing something different. I wouldn't even say Smallville. Yeah, so you see the kaiju, they in the 30 minutes, they saw the kaiju fight. Yes. So the extended look crypto fortressing, extended look of the kaiju fight, just off of the trailer that you saw, you get an extended look and of the camera angles and everything they're doing with that. And then an extended look at Clark and Lois. That's the 30 minutes that they saw on the big screen. And the last thing they said, which I find interesting, they said after watching this, and again, the Fortress, crypto, robots, the whole All-Star Superman thing, and the extended look of the kaiju fight, it was like, this feels like Justice League animated. They was like, if they're going to, because it was like, this is a different Superman. Yes, you haven't had this, I guess, nuanced Superman approach. But when you put it all together and for the footage that they saw, it was like, this is like Justice League animated Superman, Justice League Unlimited. This is what they feel the vibes. Fans of Superman, DC fans, general audience, if they remember the animated series, they said this is what James Gunn is putting out there, and judging off the footage and just what their feedback and what they saw, it comes down to word of mouth, like some people will say in the chat. But that was what was gathered from the 30 minutes of Superman that they saw, and we're pretty close to its release. Any last minute comments or questions, throw it in the chat. We're going to start winding this one down. But I definitely wanted to get the word out there as far as what they're saying, as far as with this film, the box office numbers, the trajectory of the pre-sales. I mean, this is real data. That's why I said we can't compare it to The Flash, because people like to use that one screenshot where, The Flash may open up to 115 million. But the Flash didn't have these pre-sales. The Flash doesn't have the brand recognition. That's why they put 3 Batman in there. The Flash didn't have this buzz. Now, several things, yes, was going against it as well, too. Ezra Miller, first off, was innocent. I hate when people try to say, if Ezra Miller didn't, all those allegations, Ezra Miller was targeted. I had a pretty good source during that time, as far as during that time, I'll just say that. And then it came out afterwards that Ezra Miller was innocent. But like I said, they couldn't market the film, the Flash film. Like I said, they didn't have any pre-sales like this. They didn't have the buzz like this. So that's not a comparison. That's not a smart comparison anymore. If you just want to troll, then that's, you're just a troll. I don't know what you, but Matt Reeves, the Batman, is the proper comp. Opening weekend, like I said, 120 million is my guess. But the brand of Superman and James Gunn name recognition, I think, definitely guarantees 100 million. 116 was Man of Steel. I think they really feel like they probably, I feel they're thinking they need to really hit that number, Man of Steel number overall. Let's catch up with the chat as we wind down again. Exclusive details of the 30 minutes of Superman is out there. We just broke it here. I didn't see anyone else talking about it, so I know when I talk about stuff like this, if someone else said it, if you could Google it, you can't Google what I just said. But like I said, newer folks, like I said, at times I just get information. It just, I've got a chance to network with a lot of people. Definitely, due to my connection with late great Mikey Sutton and Geekosity, I got a chance to meet a lot of people while we were in lockdown and pandemic. So I met people around the world, from Louisville, Kentucky. And when I hear stuff, I just throw stuff out there, man. That's just what we do. So Definitely join in. We're not here for the fandom wars. We're not here to be fighting about stuff, but definitely give your opinion. You know, what you like, except Maria, no more Batman and Robin shots. Okay, no more. No, no more. Let's wind down here. Wondering they show who Superman is fighting. Yeah, the kaiju. So they got an extended look. Now, but does that mean that's in the beginning of the film? Or because again, these 30 minutes is not linear. So Gunn did some smart marketing right there. Very smart marketing. Seeing how David tackles the role is going to be great watch, hopefully. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, I think that's going to be probably one of the most controversial things is, do people like his Clark? And I'm just saying just probably online banter, but I just wonder, how's it going to land with people? Because everything else seems to be landing, pretty good overall. I've seen people have a problem with that. It feels like a Saturday morning cartoon. What's your thoughts on that? That's intentional. Like I said, I mean, just according to the person that saw the 30 minutes, there's like, yeah, I'm thinking Justice League Unlimited the whole time. Come to life, live action. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad to me. I'm just saying, like, overall, Justice League Unlimited. Again, the camera angles are. You're pretty much in there. You're in there with the cinematography with this. So, yeah. See, Sickness in the chat. What's good? Hey, shout out to Sickness. But this was Sickness. I know how you feel, Sickness. I hate James Gunn. Let's get that comment out the way. It's all good. It's all good, man. Y'all, everyone's welcome here. What I won't do, as I said with other people, we're not going to push false stories. But if Superman's doing numbers, that's what we're going to talk about. If it fails, that's what we're going to talk about. Shout out to Sickness. I'm just here to troll. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I had that for you, bro. It's all good. It's all good, man. You already know Jovic, Sickness and Jovic. They got, I got to check the boxes out here still, right? I can't just be full on. Is DC winning? We got to have a couple good trolls. But I don't call you troll. Sickness ain't a troll. Jovic ain't a troll either. But I appreciate y'all seeing, like I said, the evolutions of my stories and reports and understanding that I'm just reporting what I hear, man. You already know. Let's see. I'm trying to. Okay, the comments jumped on me. I was trying to. Okay, here we go. All right, just catching up with the comments before we close this out. There we go. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. This is exactly this style of Superman. I mean, hey, that extended crypto fortress scene, you get all the Silver Age vibes. I don't know if I probably didn't say that when I was talking about that part of the 30 minutes. You get all that Silver Age vibes. You get the crypto acting up in the fortress. You get more dialogue with Superman and the robots. There's that whole fortress scene. So a lot of people were waiting for those, Silver Age vibes or All-Star Superman vibes. Overall, I know, like I said, the kaiju part. I am looking forward to the kaiju part. So that's kind of Silver Agey as well. Actually, Superman fighting big monsters. But they're saying that it all looked good. Can't wait to see Superman vs. Ultraman. Hell rumored fight. Yeah, man, I hope that's him. Shout out to Sickness. You got an exclusive. Yeah, like I said, I mean, these are details I didn't see anywhere. So we'll plant our flag and say, hey, again, the structure and everything that we talked about. So any chance the second week has a crazy low drop since a good amount of people still wait and see mode? Well, I'm not sure how to gauge who's in wait and see mode, but if the pre-sales are pacing everyone and the brand recognition is there, the forecast is feeling pretty good. So I think, like I said, the opening will be, like I said, I say 120. We'll see. The second week drop off, it's the same formula: word of mouth, audience score, cinema score. That's going to determine how this is going to hold. And we won't know until the film comes out. We won't know the audience score, right? As far as, again, what we can gauge is the pre-sales buzz and everything going into the film, and it's right up there with Matt Reeves' The Batman so far. So that's where we're at. Up in the Sky is actually one of Tom King's better comics. He's hit or miss with me. It's Mr. Miracle. I think it's going to be good. The show they're doing, the animated show. His Mr. Miracle was good. Woman of Tomorrow, I'm rereading that, and it's actually hitting better than when I first read it. So Tom King can have moments. You just got to rein him in. Like writers are going to write off their personal experience, but I just don't want to hear his personal experience, to be quite honest with you. But shout out to Hosea. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate, again, some of the newer people that's finding the channel. Appreciate the OGs that understands that we're just reporting the news here. And it's crazy online right now. But I'm not here to give y'all, false stories. I want factual information that I can point back to. So that's what we covered today. Good stuff. Let's see, I hate that Superman's the only movie this summer being looked at and nitpicked more than any other movie coming out. I am seeing Jurassic World starting to get like some hate. People that don't like women leads in films. So that's one thing. People have some angle with that. So I just say knock yourself out. And then Fantastic Four, a lot of people don't like the political leanings of Pedro Pascal. So all these films are being nitpicked with. Just in this space, I talk mostly DC, so I do see most of the DC stuff. I got you, TC, about the Stephen A thing. I got you. No, they didn't tell me about any scenes with Lex. They didn't tell me that as far as in the 30 minutes. I'm thinking during the kaiju fight, I wonder if they flashed the Lex, but it must not have been notable enough because it was the Crypto Fortress, Superman versus Kaiju, and Clark and Lois. So I may ask him, did we get any Lex stuff? It probably was little footage of him. Superman will hold the top spot by a hair. I think so, man. I tell you, I wasn't going into this month. Like we talked about July like 100,000 times on this channel. I was saying, oh, Fantastic Four is going to be the big one for July, right? And I thought Jurassic World was going to do great. Once all this data comes in, it's like, Superman's really coming out ahead of all of them, according to the forecast. So, yeah. And that'll be interesting, too, if DC beats Marvel, because that's like a kind of a larger conversation right there. like if Superman outpaced Marvel, Fantastic Four, now, either Superman has brand recognition or not, because then people will say, well, Superman's bigger than Fantastic Four. But then I thought he didn't have no brand recognition. So we got to pick we got to pick one fight here. The numbers are coming out again. Superman outsold Fantastic Four for first day sales and is outpacing them now. Is Marvel down that bad, or is DC doing something good? We'll see. We'll definitely see. What do you think of the deadline projection drop to about 90 million opening weekend? Well, I just read that article, so you probably just came in here late. But deadline said 90 to 120. So that's the actual number. They didn't just say Superman's opening 90 million. They actually said 90 to 120. Now I said that's a Warner Brothers number. They did that with Matt Reeves' Batman. Warner Brothers notoriously, again, tries to undersell their projections so that they can sell you once it makes 100 million, if it does. Then you're holding on to 90 million. They're like, oh, we made 100 million. So we won. We won the headlines. That's how you do it. I think Gunn said is one. I think it's one post-credit scene, and we all know Supergirl's in the body of the film. So the post-credit scene, if I'm going to guess, it will be teasing a project that we already know about. So it would be, it probably only could be Lanterns, to be quite honest with you, because I think Supergirl. Could it be a Peacemaker gag? It's possible. Maybe one of those two. I think it, in a sense, it will kind of tease something from I say Lanterns. I say if I'm going to pick one. I haven't heard about the post-credit scene yet, but I'd say it could be like a Peacemaker gag or something like that. Because Gunn was saying, my Saturday stream, I'm going to go over, it's a recent article. Gunn said basically Peacemaker is going to cite, previously in the DCU, which is Superman, and to kind of catch up their viewers to the Peacemaker story. So we'll see. We'll see. Not the first Marvel family. Yeah, DC. That'll be a win for DC, man. It's like that'd be kind of wild. Anyone chat, who's been ruined by this video? Let me know in the chat. Let me know. I want to know who feels like the movie's ruined now. Oh my goodness, man. This is why we're getting away from the silliness online, because of comments like this. Yeah, Gunn, as far as post credits, Gunn's gonna do like little stingers and things like that. In the films, he just don't want to be handcuffed. He don't want to be handcuffed by certain characters and little post credit teases. Let's see. TC says, if anything, it just confirmed what I was already feeling. Carlos says everything you mentioned was already showed. Yeah, it's extended. My scoop here is that the 30 minutes is basically giving you extended looks at things you've already saw. I just gave you a few details. That was my so if you watch a trailer, you were ruined. you were spoiled. But as we close this out, Again, we'll do the Saturday stream. It'll be more things that James Gunn revealed as far as with the films and with DC overall. It was something else I was like, I'm going to cover. I think that's it. Is that James Gunn article. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly. They don't need any more trailers or anything like that. Oh, okay. Shock therapy. I got you. See, instead of you saying all this, shock therapy, this is all you had to say. I hate James Gunn. Let's get that comment out the way. See, you have to type all that in the chat. We had you covered, man. We gonna get on out of here, man. I ain't gonna play with this right now. I gotta get to work now. So much love to Still Nation. Again, we out of these fandom wars. We're dealing with real information. But we'll definitely joke about what needs to be joked about for sure. I gotta add the WBD. I gotta add that. I gotta add that later. Y'all wilded again. Much love to Still Nation. I gotta find my out button. We'll be live Saturday. Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Sylabdul ink to speak true as he bring the news. Coffee talk, stay brew, kick back, get real comfortable. Here to stay, no on delay, make sure I be's informed. On the road, on the go, playing ball on that pavement floor. It's a lifestyle right now, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Guaranteed all week's going to always be on time. That's my word, y'all heard from Il Divino Vega's mouth. What's the words much more than what these networks talk about?